It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day, and today is groundbreaking on Phase 2 in Mission Hills in the front courtyard. We will also be visiting the work that we did in the back while we're here this week. We did the first installation on the back deck about a month ago, and the ladies have made it their own and made some great changes. There's a plant that I have questions for you guys about that's not a succulent, that has gone sideways. But let's focus on what's happening this week here. This inner courtyard is so stinking cool. I mean, from the paint chipped brick adobe to the ivy growing on the wall, to the Spanish style of the home. This is a historic home, and this is a situation that you absolutely have to embrace, just like the client does. They love the aged look of this property. They love the imperfection. So we're going to marry and celebrate that. This green ivy, they love it. It's staying. All these potted euphorbias, I will restage and I will dust off and I will water and I will groom, but they stay. This big bed in here is going to be just a bouquet of color. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet. I'm headed to shop after this video, but this is the biggest planting space in this courtyard, and it's about 2.5 feet wide by probably about 15 long. And like I said, they want color, 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 color. I'm going to be doing mixed medium. Look at this giant euphorbia that goes way above the house. They really should have somebody come and knock off that branch, though, that's hanging over. But that's not in our scope. We've got cool microclimates. This area over here, really, really hot in the summertime. I'm going to be bringing in more pots and integrating their terracotta as well. Remember these wonderful blue, Greg painted the gutters this color blue, so I'll be pulling in pots that really pick up this blue color and complement it. This wonderful, oh my gosh, it's about 10 degrees cooler back here. This poor little ficus is going into the Garden of Second Chances, and I am going to pot up something here that is more houseplant-like, that's got great big glossy leaves for Julie. This is a jade that belonged to her mom. This will also be cleaned up. I'll clean the weeds out of the bottom of it. I may pull it out of the planter bed, and after I remember the one I bonsai'd at my house, maybe I will do something like that and expose all the really interesting trunkage, in which case it might even work here in this corner if it's not going to impact egress. We'll see. Otherwise, because it is a jade and this is just a few blocks from the ocean, I might set this out in the garden proper. I don't know yet, but it's definitely not staying right there. This attenuata variegata, I think I'm probably going to leave this. Obviously, I'm going to clean it up, and then I will do a lot of underplanting all around it, because that's kind of cool. This poor needles and strings, filamentosa, is extremely root bound and very miserable in that pot. That is, I can't even with that. These potted euphorbia here will be moved and staged into other areas, and the calla lilies, which of course are a bulb and seasonal, will be dug up and replanted out in the shade underneath the stairwell there, so they can come up next year and delight. This 15,000-pound wagon wheel, Greg and the guys are going to hang on the wall. Then I'm going to plant a pretty substantial bougainvillea, and we will train it through the spokes for a real big, beautiful blast of color right here. Then I'll be underplanting all of the rest of this little bed with succulents. We are going to be drilling holes in the fountain and planting this all out in succulents, and then bringing in small pots and planting a specimen cutesy succulents and cactus in the pots, all in this area here. And then I will also be blowing out this area here with additional pots. Probably get rid of this millie. It looks like it's very much on its last legs. Then they're going to be bringing in new furniture after we're done. It's going to be like a love seat and a couple chairs. So I won't do anything in front of this bed pot-wise, but I will definitely be taking advantage of every other nook, cranny, and space that we can. While we're at it, you might as well come on out with me and I'll show you or refresh your memory. So when they bought this house a few years ago, you know, the flipper, the realtor, the owner, whoever, kind of smoke and mirrored and threw down AstroTurf. They don't love this. So my goal is to get them to let me rip this out, create a flagstone pathway to the gate, and then just plant a beautiful specimen garden in here. Then in front, same thing. We've got fake grass. The irrigation has been turned completely off out here. The pygmy palms are really struggling from lack of water. They have a really sad, I think it's a lemon tree or a lime tree right here, you know, and a ton of agave attenuatas. This is going to be a real labor of love, just to dig up, clean up, and reset all these plants and get irrigation to them. Then here's our haul. These are some plants that were left over from the La Jolla Shores job, and also a few that I got from Robert, the booby cactus and the spiralis I got at Planter Paradise, and I've been holding on to those for a couple of weeks for this job in particular. These big rosy Canariensis aeoniums are going to look fantastic in that courtyard. I'm going to be bringing in some Crassula argentea sunset and marrying it with the lemon and lime. These aloe apaches have got some really, really good color. And then I've got some of the Echeveria big reds left over from that job too, along with cotyledon mint truffles and a couple of Kalanchoe bayerensis. So we're going to offload these plants today, and then Greg and I are going to take off in the truck and start buying stuff. So this is going to be a really interesting mixed medium installation in a very bohemian space, and I'm super stoked to take you along on the ride. This has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with day 1 in Mission Hills Phase 2 and your succulent tip of the day. Bye guys!